Welcome back, everyone. In this video, let's style the rest of our components. What we want to do is we want to turn these H1s that represent our individual monsters into these different monster cards that we see here. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's go back to our code. Inside of our code, I want to navigate to this CardList component. And what we want to do is actually create the template that will reflect the card. So instead of H1s, we are going to make a card component, and it starts with a div. So a div is going to hold all of the actual content for this card. And I'm going to give this a class name of card container because I'm going to style it using that class name. What else I'm going to do is I know that there needs to be an image. And here we're going to give it the alt text of monster, because that's really what it's for. The alt text is for accessibility, and it essentially on screen readers will mention what this is. And here we can say that it's a monster. We can get more specific if we want. If we wanted to say that not only is it a monster, but there's a name to the monster, and we can do that by, again, using string interpolation. And then here I can say monster.name like this. But now I need to give it a source. The source is going to be a website actually called RoboHash. RoboHash is awesome because it allows us to generate these images that we're going to use, and I want to use the monsters. So in order to do this, what RoboHash does is that after robohash.org, after the slash, you can type whatever you want. For me, I know that with our IDs that we're getting back from JSON placeholder, they're numbers and they increment by 1. So if we say /1, and here following the actual monster ID, we add this URL parameter set, I can say that set2 is the one I want, which is the monsters. If you actually save this, you'll see that right here, this is our monster. If I increment this ID, I'll get a different monster. So using this, we can generate all the different monsters we want to use for the images inside of our application. The additional great benefit to this is that there's another URL parameter you can add, which is size, and you can tell it how big you want it to be. So I want it to be 180 by 180 pixels. And there you can see that this will be my image. So that is the dynamic value we want. So let's just copy this. And again, you can just find this inside of your resources folder. Go back to our application. And I want to say that source is going to be equal to string interpolation. And instead of this number, I'm going to say monster.id. And now that we have that, let's also make sure that we have an H2 that will have the name of the monster. And let's also make sure that we have a paragraph tag that contains the email of the monster. And let's not forget, because we're mapping over, we need to make sure we also include a key. So that key value was monster.id as well. And here, if I save this, if I go back to my application, I'll see that we have our card. Now, it doesn't have all the styling of our card, but it's the beginning of it. It's already resembling much closer to what this final application looks like. One quick thing I want to note. One improvement that you'll notice here is that we are actually calling monster.name twice, and we're calling monster.id twice. Whenever you see this, this is a good time to destructure. Because essentially what happens is that you can imagine perhaps there's a chance that later down the road, how you get this name is different. Or let's say monster name is no longer monster name, it's username. You would have to change this in multiple places in your file, and that's a little inconvenient. The way that destructuring works is that we cast it as a variable, and then we just use that variable. We've already done it before. So here, let's just make sure we do that as well. So I'm going to use these curly braces so that I can actually destructure off the properties I want off of monster. And this way, wherever I reference it, I can just change it in one place. So I know that I want the name, I want the email, and I want the ID. And now, if I just go through and remove the monster dot, and I save. And then I go back to my application. I see that everything is still working. So that's a nice little optimization. Now let's style the card list and the card component. So we're going to make another file, cardlist.styles.css. And inside, we know what we need to do is we need to style this card list container that contains all of our cards. And we also need to style the individual cards themselves. So again, go into your resources folder, get the card list CSS file, and paste it inside of here. Once you paste in your styles, don't forget to go back to the card list component and import in the styling file that we just created. So now if we save and we go back to our application, we'll see that we have the same styles as our main application. So this is pretty much the majority of the application. There's one more header to add for Monsters Rolodex, but you'll notice that your app pretty much looks the same now. And if we do and type, we see that everything works as it did before. One quick thing that I want to challenge you to do and really think about here. Some of you were looking at this application might actually notice an optimization. That optimization is to take this code for this card and actually move it into its own card component. So that's actually what I'm going to challenge you to do. I want you to just take this component that we have inside of CardList and move it into its own card component. Move the styling, move all the relevant code, and then get it there. And once you've done that in the next video, let's do it together. So I'll see you in the next video.